Hi, how are you?
All right.
Over here, maybe? I put one down.
Oh, you got it? Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, go live. Good evening and welcome to the February 15th, 2023 meeting of the Harbor and Coastal Zone Management Commission. If you're in the room, you can see the exits are at both sides. And if you have to leave in an orderly fashion. If you're at home, this should be available to you both on LMC TV and also streaming on their website. I apologize for the late start. We had a commissioner in transit and did not have a quorum without the fourth commissioner, so we had to start a little bit late. I hope folks, if you're at home, you stuck with us, and if you're watching, thank you for paying attention to village affairs. We have only one applicant item on for tonight, so I call motion to open meeting.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Hi.
Motion carries. The meeting is open, and I call 561 Lawn Terrace.
Good evening, for the applicant, John Hills. Following our last get together, I prepared the plan that we agreed upon during the meeting. I'm sure you all had an opportunity to review it. The harbor master had some comments. Don't really know how to disprove the negative, I guess is what I'm kind of seeing is that he is the arbiter where any new moorings would go. So I assume that on my drawing, the moorings would be centered pretty much in the anchorage area. There appears to be adequate clearance and increasing clearance, as you can see, west of the anchorage from the applicant's proposed dock location. So I don't feel that there will be any adverse impact to navigation to and from docks to the east of the applicant's proposed dock. This dock appears to be the last property on Lawn Terrace that does not have a dock. So this would be basically flat. It would be an infill, so to speak. And as a result, I don't think it would change the dynamic, particularly of the area. Should it be built?
Before we do that, and maybe just because it's housekeeping and it's probably the shortest thing to talk about, we had raised a concern under view shed with the height of the pilings. Can we flip to the area photos, which were I think the second to last item in the new submission? Vicinity photos, that's the one. And scroll down. It looked to me like several of the other docks in the area have fairly tall pilings. Do you have a rough idea of how tall those are? And really,
those would probably be equivalent, in height above water to what we're proposing here. I mean, you obviously have to, account for a storm surge to make sure that, should there be flooding, for example, the float doesn't simply go over the top of the pilings and become a projectile.
Okay, nothing to me struck me as looking particularly different than what's there now. Of course, when we deal with view shed, where it's not subjective question what we like. The issue is whether it's out of scale with what's existing. It looked to me like the pilings are consistent with the existing designs. Okay, I wanted to get that on the table because that's probably the easiest thing to talk about. And then I want to hear from the harbor master about navigation and future moorings.
Good evening, everyone. The diagram that John did is, accurate as to where the placement would be. I'm not sure if we actually set moorings in there that they would all be in a line perfectly like that. And they also may have to be staggered. so that, you know, one boat can get in and out around the other ones. So, I mean, by the measurements that are on the drawing, there would appear to be enough water there. It's just that area, I know when I have to turn the police boat around in there or a boat around in that area, it's tight. So I'm still a little concerned about it. I had mentioned to John in an email that, you know, I think the best thing to maybe do is to just go and look at this when all the docks are in place and at low tide, so you can actually see how tight it is in there. I know it would delay it until the spring. I don't know if that's an issue, but that would be my suggestion. Is to me, you really have to see this for what it is. Looking at it on paper doesn't do it justice.
I do not love delay. On the other hand, what we're guided by here are the policies specific to the harbor plan. And those really put navigation safety front and center around mooring areas. So we can't, that's the one thing that we have to be surest of. If we don't think we really understand what we're looking at until we can get on a boat out there and see what it looks like with some other boats in the water, then we probably shouldn't. I'm speaking for myself and not the other commissioners, but I don't know that I should be voting on it if the harbor master is telling me you can't really appreciate the safety aspect until you see it, and I haven't seen it.
Right.
I agree with.
I want to see if I'm alone in that. Are we? Do
No,
we need to see this out on the water with boats?
Certainly would defer to the harbor master on that.
I hate to do that to you because I know
you to do it to me,
I
and not to me per se, but to my client, because let's be very clear here. As the photographs show, there are several docks. As I pointed out, this is the last dock that will be constructed on that side of the anchorage. If it's tight because it's tight. This isn't going to make it any tighter. This is simply going to be another dock in an already crowded area. Agreed. That being said, I don't think it's going to make a large difference to navigation. I've demonstrated that should the moorings be located as I showed them on the plans, there should be adequate fairways on both sides. It's at the discretion of the harbor master as to where those moorings go. There may not even be any moorings in that location, depending upon demand. And further delay, when will all the docks be in? May, June, July? So it's February now. You have the authority and you have the discretion to delay as long as you want. That is, I understand your concerns and I understand what drives those concerns in terms of your regulations. That being said, I think we've pretty well gone over all the potential here. This isn't going to stick out beyond neighbors. The boat to be berthed is an excessively large boat. It's really, in my mind, a non-issue. Of course, I have to defer to you. I have to defer to the harbor master. But that being said, looking down the road and familiar with the delivery of docks and boats to private residences such as these, it could well be into June or July before you see all the docks and all the boats at this location. So basically, you've just taken the summer away from my client.
I do want to ask, so the thing that's not in dispute, and I understand we may not, fully understand where all the moorings are going to be. The thing that I think is not in dispute is that when you look at the existing docks on the lawn terrace side, while the space between the docks and the opposite docks expands and contracts depending on where they are on the channel, this is roughly in line with the other docks. So it's not encroaching really more on the anchorage or on the channel than the other docks are. Is there is there a reason why this is a different navigation situation than any of the other docks on that road?
I think this dock is sticking out like an additional 7 feet past the neighbors. Because on one of the drawings, if you look at one of the drawings, where this dock starts is just about where the other one ends. So this dock is sticking out further than the other ones.
One of the first drawings.
Yeah, on the first set of drawings that we got if you look at the dock to the east, this dock, the proposed dock is sticking out further. I think it was like 7 feet or something like that.
We'll go to the next.
On the proposed general plan view. Because I mean, where they're driving the piles is, maybe it looks like maybe a foot or two inside the other dock. So then this proposed dock is going to pretty much start right where the other dock is ending, the dock to the east.
Okay, I see that. Let's, can we go to the channel mark?
Recent, one of the recent.
Yeah, the first or second of the new submission. No, not the aerial. Above the AKRF menu, above the AKRF memo. No, sorry, below that. Which one is the one with the channel marked? Try the Anchorage view.
Anchorage view, I think.
That's
Yep.
the one. That's what I was looking for.
That's based on the Army Corps of Engineers survey. And if you refer back to the plan that you were referring to earlier, the general plan view, you should note that all the adjacent structures are for reference purposes only. They're not surveyed, they weren't measured. They're basically done, through aerial photographs and measurements off of Google.
I mean, that's kind of what I was saying the last time. If they just pull that dock in so that it is even with the neighbors, then I don't think it's an issue. But because this one is sticking out, what I'm looking at on here is why I brought this up. Had it been even with the other docks, I probably would have never even brought it up.
That's the problem. If you look at this plan and you go to the dock farthest east, you can see that according to the survey is closer to the Anchorage line, correct?
I'm sorry, John, what was that again?
On the Anchorage plan that I prepared recently.
Yeah.
Go to the dock that's farthest east in the Anchorage. You can see that this is according to the Army survey.
Right.
That dock is closer to the channel than our proposed dock.
It is, but that's also all mud there at low tide. So if there's a boat on that dock, it's sitting in the mud. So that back there is kind of
right. Regardless of that, you proposed the mooring opposite that dock.
Because in the middle of the channel, there is 5 feet in the middle there.
Right.
But on the sides where that is. But that's my point is if, the docks all start creeping out further and further and they get into the middle of the channel, now you can't put a mooring there. Because that's what everybody's going to try and do is everybody's going to try and keep coming further out to get to where there's deeper water. So because there's no water there as it is because of the creek. And that's what's going to end up happening.
Can I interject here? This dock has received permits from the DEC and the Army Corps of Engineers. Okay, in order for this dock to legally extend any further water work, I would have to go back to those agencies and to your agency as well. I cannot speak to the other docks shown on this drawing as to their legality, as to their permitting status, what have you. I'm dealing with the one on the agenda tonight. If everybody wants to illegally or legally push their docks out, well, if they want to do so legally, they will have to come before this commission, correct?
Yes.
And they will have to obtain authorizations from the Army Corps of Engineers and the DEC. Already, we see docks that are almost encroaching upon the anchorage. And we know that you are not allowed to berth a boat within the anchorage at an authorized dock. So that being the case, what I have for my client complies with the rules, does not encroach upon the channel or rather the anchorage. There appears to be an adequate fairway between where the boat would be at my client's dock and the berthing at a mooring slightly to the southeast of that. Again, I can't speak to the other docks. And if you're concerned about docks encroaching upon the anchorage is an overarching concern here, I believe you have the enforcement power to go and question the owners of those docks as to the legality of their docks and whether they comply with all the permits that were issued for those docks.
Yes,
Have you done so? Have you done a sweep of that area?
no, not yet.
Okay, do you intend to?
In the future, yes. Right now, I have other things at the actual marina to deal with.
That's fine. That's fine.
Let-
But the
let me
point I'm making is this, is that my client's dock has received the permits that it needs, and it complies with the Army's and the DEC's requirements.
Let me just interject here. I want to make sure I understand what I'm seeing. The dock that is northward on the Lawn Terrace side, is this accurate as to their distance from the anchorage line?
This is from the Army Corps of Engineers survey.
Okay, so it looks like the one that's marked floating dock that doesn't appear to have a gangplank, that's at least as close to the anchorage line as the proposed one, right?
Yes,
Okay, it's a little farther out than the one that's immediately south of it,
right,
but then the channel's wider there.
exactly.
Okay. All right, I got what I'm looking at. And so it's farther from the anchorage line than at least one of the immediately adjacent docks.
Mhm.
And it's farther than the ones on the other side of the channel. I got that. Are we going to be able to get a sense of it if we decide that it's too much to wait until everybody's got their boats in the water? The docks are going to be out there. Are we going to be able to get a sense of that if we go out on the water? We can all wear a coat. If we go out on the water while it's still pre-season and take a look at this in the month of March, instead of kicking the can down the road and losing several months, are we going to be able to get a visual on this? Because
I don't know how many of the docks will be put in by March. I'm not sure. That's usually when everybody's starting up in March, is starting to put everything back is in March.
And keep in mind too, that when people store their docks in locations such as this, and they may have anchor chains and stuff like that, the docks may not be in the final configuration that they will be once they're commissioned for the boating season.
So, I mean, I can tell you we've heard enough about the channel and we understand that it's tight. So there's no chance. It looks like, first of all, every property in that area that could have a dock already has one. That I don't think there's any chance that somebody's going to come back to us and get a dock farther out, encroaching further on the channel. But I also think it's a little, it sounds like a harsh response to tell a property owner, because you can't do the same thing every surrounding property owner has done, because we've suddenly perceived the need to tighten up. So that's what I'm trying to, on the one hand, I get it that this is a mooring field. It's tight on navigation already. Every added dock sort of makes that worse. On the other hand, it sounds very restrictive to say to a property owner, you have a right to a dock, you've got other people's permits. It's not encroaching on the channel any more than anybody else's. but because you came late to the game, we're telling you no. That's the circle that I'm trying to square here. Is there something else about this that makes it worse, that if there weren't surrounding docks, we would still say you're too close to the anchorage? And I'm not hearing that. I'm not hearing why.
No. No.
I'm also disinclined to kick the can down the road. If we, is there a way we can get a sense of this that doesn't require us to wait until the middle of the season?
I don't think you would get a good sense of it. So, I mean, if that's your thought on it, then, I'd be okay with that. If you guys wanted to, because I understand delaying them is not fair to them either and making them lose the season. I totally understand that.
Well, I would say just looking at this visually, it's hard to see how this addition has kind of an adverse cumulative effect on the passage.
It just,
At least looking at
doesn't
this.
look worse. Certainly from overhead, it doesn't look worse. It's as respectful of the channel as its immediate neighbor. Now, is this with the 35 or the 38 foot?
26. This is as proposed, the longer ramp.
Okay. Yeah, it's not out as far as the one that's next to it.
And again, keep in mind that, these surveys, the surveys that take place, usually when they're dock in place, they make note of that. And that's noted on the Army surveys that there's actually areas where they say boats, docks, what have you. So they know that there's docks there. They're not just kind of working around that photo overlaying it per se.
Yeah, I hear that. I mean, we're a policy-making body, right? So we ultimately have to listen to not just what the Army Corps says, but what our policies are, how we interpret them, and the expert guidance we have. And we have to listen to the harbor master, but that's not the same as going, okay, you make the call. Ultimately, these things come for a vote, and we try to take our policies, listen to what everyone has to say, and decide how we should vote. We've cleared everything else away except for the one core issue. How tight does it really make navigation? And I've been as transparent as I can about what the question is, where I think probably on this, I speak for all of us. It's simply a question of, on the one hand, you're not doing it, you're not proposing for your client anything that's any worse than what anyone else has done. It's a tight area, it's near a mooring field, but it's not any closer to the channel than its immediate neighbor. We get that. On the other hand, we understand that it is tight, and the harbor master is concerned that it's a close place to turn a boat. It's not the easiest place, and we don't know exactly where the future moorings are going to be. If this were the middle of the summer, it would be a no-brainer. We would simply say we have to see it out on the water for ourselves. I can say that, and I also realize that if I say that, I am probably, like you said, costing your client the summer, trying to find a way to avoid doing that. Is there anything we can do that's going to give it, that doesn't require us to wait until the middle of the summer to look at this, that's going to give us a better sense of how tight it is?
Is there a way that they can go out and put some markers, out where the end of the dock would be? So I'm just trying to, I was just in there the other day and I can't remember if the dock across is in or not. I can go look tomorrow.
That would probably be helpful, even if it just means going out and dropping a couple of, just so that we can.
Just to get a visual, and because I don't think the dock that's directly across from them comes out for the winter. So that would be, we only really need to see that one dock there. And if we kind of get an idea of where the end of their dock would be, I think that would we don't really necessarily need everybody's dock in. I just don't know if there's a way for the contractor to do that.
Well, the contractor would have to be hired by the applicant to do that. And in order to accurately locate those buoys, we'd have to bring the surveyor in so that the surveyor could then confirm the location of the buoys. And I wouldn't recommend using buoys because buoys can move laterally 5, 6 feet. Therefore, we would probably have to put stakes in. So there's that. Now, stakes are fine, but that would require you to then go out very quickly before anything happens to those stakes.
Right.
And furthermore, I would want you or someone with the authority to do so to confirm that the dock on the opposite bank is where it's supposed to be prior to you doing that. Because if we're going as a reference against the opposite shore, then if the opposite shore is 5, 10, 15 feet one way or another, and it looks tight there as a result of that, then that's an unfair onus upon my client because it gives the visual impression that their dock will be a lot closer to the dock across the way than it should actually be. So that would be something I would like to see. I guess that would be in the building department's files.
Right. Yeah.
They should, and I guess even in the minutes of this commission, there should be paperwork as to where that dock is supposed to be. So that being the case, if I could have that, just to confirm that that dock is where it's supposed to be, then yeah, I could recommend to my client that they hire the surveyor to coordinate with the dock builder or another marine contractor to locate the the 2 corners, let's say, of the floating dock, and then we could inform you when the stakes are in, and you could go do a visual, and then you could report back to this commission as to your impressions. But again, I would only do that. I would only recommend that to my client if we're first assured that the dock on the opposite shore is where it is in its authorized location.
Right. Okay.
So I'm sorry. I was under the impression, and maybe I misheard, that after the discussion and comments from the applicant, that the harbor master said he was okay with going forward. Maybe you didn't say that, maybe I misheard, but I thought, did I hear you say that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. So I'm not sure why that, with that guidance, I understand it's our decision, but I certainly, with that guidance from the harbor master, would be prepared to go forward.
Well, look, before we vote anything, we do a straw poll to see if people think they have enough information to intelligently cast their vote, whether it's for consistency or marine structure permitting. I've been as upfront as I can that I don't want to wait until the summer, but I am looking for a way to take the harbor master's guidance to see it in person on the water. I will tell you that I want a way to see this on the water. I've heard a solution that, imperfect as it may be, will at least get us in March instead of out in the middle of the summer. That's what I think. I am having a hard time saying that I have enough information to cast my vote without at least some on the water view, even though I understand everything the applicant has said, and I appreciate the efforts to get us information on paper that gets us over this hump. That's where I am. I hear what Randy's saying. It sounds like Randy thinks he has enough information to cast a vote. Cammie, where are you?
I'm just having a hard time visualizing it. So I've been trying to sit here and visualize it and stuff. So I think I just need a little bit more. It just comes down to where I cannot visualize if I guess I can see how it is going to be in the placement of the two other places. I feel like I would feel a lot better with casting about that.
Jack, do you think you have enough information or do you think you need to see
Honestly,
it?
I'm gonna go with you on this just because I've been trying to get my head around this. I've spent 2 weeks. I looked at it separately. I even know, I know the harbor intimately. I can't figure it out.
Yeah, I can tell you, I understand the time concerns and I will bend over backwards to accommodate a schedule where we have to get on the water within 24 hours to see stakes if we need to.
Yeah.
If I have to look at my neighbors and explain how we're doing our job, I don't want to tell them that I buffaloed the harbor master on an issue of safety. What I thought I heard was, you really should see it on the water. I don't want to end up in July or August saying we wait until all the docks are in. I understand what a hardship that is for the applicant. If we've got a way that I can see it from a boat on the water that doesn't require us to lose the season, I don't think that I can tell my neighbors I did my job until we try that. Let's get some stakes in. I will do whatever I have to do to get out on the water in a couple of weeks and go look at it. Let's get some stakes in. We'll look at it from the water and then I can say, we did all of our due diligence. We've seen it from the water. We know how it is. And if we're going to vote it and say that's safe, we've really done our job.
And I can be
I
flexible.
realize that's both, more costly and more of a pain to your client than it is if we just say, I don't need to see it. But we've thought about this. I don't want to put you in August, but we've thought about what we can do here. And when the harbor master says you don't really appreciate it until you see it from the water, I can't ignore that. I can't look at my neighbors and tell them I ignored that. So that's where we're at. Let's get stakes in the water where the dock is going to go. When we see it, then we can say what we really think of it, having done all of our job. I know it's pain, but that's where we are.
May I again reiterate my request and I think my condition on reading that. We provided with the paperwork necessary to ascertain that the dock immediately opposite my client's site is where it is.
If they received a permit for that, you can request any building file. You can go to the building department, request to view a file, and look through their entire file of that
Is
application.
that on demand or is that a waiting?
Just a couple days, not long, not more than,
Couple days.
yeah, not more than a week.
We're,
if that.
we're tight on time. So
I can look through the documents and see what's there, but I've only been here a year. My documents don't
Yeah.
go as far back as the building records do.
That's
So it
fine.
is something we
I'm
have to
happy
get from the
go to
file.
Building department. That being said, and since there seems to be a very strong emphasis on visuals amongst the commissioners, how are you going to compensate for any winter storage location that the adjacent docks may be configured? How do you propose to do that? For example, if the adjacent docks are not where they are during the summer, what if they're pulled in? What if they're moved over? And
Yeah,
again, because your emphasis seems to be visual.
Yeah, we're really concerned with the immediately adjacent dock. And that's an entirely fair question. We've got to make sure that we know how far that dock is supposed to be out and we can confirm that at least with some degree of precision from the aerial photos. And we'll take a boat over that and take a tape measure if we have to. We'll make sure that that's accurate. I understand your concern. You don't want to be held up in your applicant's application because that dock's not where it's supposed to be. Of course, if it's farther out, that probably helps you. If it misleadingly creates an impression of being farther from the proposed dock, that probably helps you. It's not going to be closer to the middle of the channel.
Again, all these docks in this area should have files at the building department,
If they did receive perimeter
And
permits in the
if my
past.
research turns up that any dock in this location is not authorized,
We're gonna take that into account. If what we find out is that there's a, is that there is a dock encroaching on that anchorage that never got a permit. What we do with that dock is between us and the harbor master, but we will take that into account in deciding what to do for yours, because we will understand that there's a better place to open up the space.
I would need a list of addresses that you want to look into so that we could start pulling the files and find what we can on them.
provide.
Yeah, I mean, there's really two that factor in heavily here, right? So the one that's right across and the one right below.
Well, I think in all fairness to my client, all the docks factor in. Because quite frankly, if the concern is a tight navigation situation, and there is a federal anchorage at this location, and that anchorage is to be utilized for placement of moorings at the harbor master's discretion, then any and all dock in that area should be scrutinized.
If there's any dock that's encroaching, and then that would give the harbor master more leeway to place
Exactly.
other anchorages. I get your point. If there's a place to put a mooring that would keep the moorings farther away from the proposed dock, that's a valid point. In terms of what we need to visualize, it's really going to help us to, we know where everything is oriented generally. We've been told by the person who's supposed to advise us on safety that you really got to see how tight that space is. And we're going to do that. If it's a little farther out from the channel than it should be because it's in a winter storage condition, that probably helps you anyway. It won't be any closer. We're going to have a look at it, and then we'll be able to cast our vote without,
When is the next meeting of this commission?
we're going to do a special meeting, but we're not going to wait for the next meeting. We're going to do this, like you said, this has to be within a day of when the stakes go in.
Some travel plans, that's why I'm just trying to work around you guys.
Okay.
That's all. I don't want to miss the meeting if it's necessary for me to be in attendance after you visit the site, so that any remaining questions can be answered.
Yeah, we have the power to make a site visit a formal meeting.
Okay.
So we can work around that. Don't worry about that. We are not trying to cost you extra time. We're not trying to kick you down the road.
I appreciate your effort.
We're trying to get enough information so that we can say that we've done everything we're required to do to know whether to vote this a permit or not.
Very good. That's-
Okay.
Can I know we're moving along, but could you just pull up the chart that shows the depth out to the end of the proposed dock?
Vicinity docks, one of them, or clearances.
No, that depths were not in the new submission. Depths were in the original submission.
Is it this?
It was a side view,
That one.
that one. So it's,
If you can read those depths, your eyes are better than mine.
yeah, I actually,
It should
there.
be 30 inches. at the median.
yeah, it says 30 inches, yeah. No, I was just trying to figure out where the 30 inches. I forgot how you figured out you had to go, how far out you had to go.
That's a DEC and Army Corps of Engineers require. The DEC basically requires that floating docks have a minimum of 30 inches.
Right. I remember that. But where does the 30 inches start?
In terms of the floating dock,
Yeah,
at the bottom of the flotation.
Whole dock, right? Inside most portion of shoreward most portion of the dock, bottom of the float.
thank you.
All right, as soon as we're able to do the site visit, we'll be in a position to vote it. We're either going to look at it and say, whoa, this is a lot tighter than it looks on paper, or we're going to say, okay, we kind of got it. We're not going to waste time with this. We're going to do what we have to do to get a visual on it, and then we're going to get this voted.
Okay, and as a follow-up again to my researching the adjacent docks, I am going to forward any information that I receive to this commission and to the harbor master for your review and his review, in order that everybody understands where things are supposed to be. The onus shouldn't be, and will not agree to having my client locate those docks at her expense by means of a licensed surveyor. I'm happy.
Yeah, no,
I'm happy to
we got that.
recommend. I'm happy to recommend the placement of 2 stakes. I think that's reasonable. I think that's prudent if that's, given your concerns. But again, I do expect this commission and the harbor master to look closely at all the adjacent docks that are adjacent to the anchorage to ascertain their legality and their compliance with any and all permits that have been issued.
It's a fair concern to say that you don't want to be told that you can't have the
I
dock
don't want
that
to
your
be held
applicant
to a higher
has
standard.
because other people violated law. We will take into account if somebody's out of compliance. I said we would take into account if somebody else is out of compliance. If this spot is tight because someone else is encroaching more than they're permitted to, we will take that into account in considering your application.
And also, again, I think the overarching goal there too is that if there are encroachments that are not legal, that provides the harbor master with greater leeway in those points.
We got it. Okay, I think that is as much progress as we can make with this application tonight. Thank you for your time and for your additional submissions. Let's get this done.
Thank you for your time.
And with that, we have run our only applicant item, and we have no administrative items except for a housekeeping matter. There is a slight backlog of minutes for this commission. The village is in the process of moving over its minutes keeping from a discussion based near transcription to an action item minute keeping. And as soon as we have a set that fills in the unadopted minutes, we'll adopt those. I am told by council we do still need to vote them at a public meeting, and we'll do that as quickly as we're able. With that, unless we have other business, I will move to adjourn.
A
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion that never fails. Thank you, folks.